Well, we had a pretty awesome trading week. Here's a few trades from the daily market breakdown videos this past week. Now let's get into this Forex forecast. All right, starting the forecast off with the US dollar COT report. The past week, the banks got rid of 964 long contracts, and they also added 646 short contracts. Starting with a weekly down approach here, you can see we did have a nice reaction off of weekly demand. And I mean, if we zoom in here, clearly we are respecting this demand zone. And honestly, I am quite surprised because we've seen this zone tested very deeply here and multiple times before. So I'm actually quite surprised, like I said, but we kind of have to go with it. But if we go down to the lower time frames, I know a daily chart's not a lower time frame, but we're going to do a top-down approach here today. You can see clearly reacting off of this daily supply zone at 103.53. If the dollar is going to fall, it is most likely going to fall from this supply zone to at least 102.6 around there. And even further, most likely, in my opinion, if we do react, kind of just based on my macro chart analysis that I did previously. So I am expecting to see this daily supply hold at least, if we break this supply zone, that'd be a very bullish sign. In any daily zone here, we could be looking for longs inside of like that. But for now, with this daily supply in control, we need to definitely be favoring shorts on the dollar. It doesn't mean we won't be able to get any trades that are long the dollar on day trading timeframes like you'll see throughout this video. But at least remember that that daily supply is in control. Now on the 1 hour chart, you can clearly see we're just going sideways here based on this rectangle that I drew. This is the high, this is the low. I would say, if we push into this, if we push above and break above this range, it's a bullish sign, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that daily supply is going to be broken. But if we do break this range to the downside, any supply zone that, breaks this range, if it is broken, could be used for a potential short. If not, let's say we push down to this demand zone at 102.94. If we break this demand zone, any 1 hour supply zone here, we could look for shorts at the same time here on the DXY. So basically just monitoring this range here on the 1 hour chart to see what takes place, to kind of get that idea of what is going to take place around that dollar. Remember, like I said, if we break above the range, we still have at least 50% of the supply left to react off of, so it's not the most bullish sign. So, as far as longs go, we need to really wait for that supply to be removed. But like I said, in the meantime, guys, that daily supply is in control, so going to be monitoring this 1 hour range here on the dollar to see which direction we are most likely going to be going in. All right, on to the forecast for the Euro US dollar. The past week, the banks got rid of 4,179 longs, and they also added 10,606 short positions. Now, real quick, if you are enjoying this video, I would appreciate a thumbs up, and all of the ad revenue goes to my local hospice. It is donated to there. So every like helps to get more people watching the video, to get more ad revenue. So would appreciate a like. I do these forecast videos every single week, so all I ask is for a thumbs up and a subscribe if you are new to the channel. So looking at the daily chart here of the euro, you can clearly see we created a daily supply zone at 109. This past day, this daily candle here, this green candle, it is definitely an indication that we could be tracing back up to that daily supply. And the real question is, will this supply hold if we go up there? Now, yes, we did lose momentum. We had a very nice trend here, broke below the trend line. Now the real question is if this supply is going to hold. If this supply breaks, in my opinion, we could probably start to look for longs again on the euro, or at least longs on swing trading timeframes. But if you are bearish, this is a supply zone we could be looking for shorts at on the euro to at least trade down to demand, down to 1.07. So, how do we actually go about and look at that? Well, in my opinion, on the 4 hour chart, we do have a 4 hour downtrend. So in my opinion, there's not enough evidence to really suggest that we are going to pull back up to that daily supply just yet. We still have 1, 2 supply zones, a downward trend line to get through. If we do break above like this, leaving us with a 1 hour demand zone there, you could kind of catch that 1 hour demand zone trade if you think we're going to pull back up to that daily supply zone. But in the meantime, we have a 4 hour downtrend here, so we could be looking for shorts on day trading timeframes. Although I'm not loving this price action here, it does look like we want to kind of break out to the upside. But at the end of the day, I'm going to be monitoring this 4 hour downtrend here to really see what is going to take place on the daily chart. Like I said, if we break above the supply zone and the downward trend line, it's most likely we're headed back up to that daily supply. And then we can go from there. On the 1 hour chart, similar to the dollar, kind of just basing out, but at least in the 4 hour chart, it is giving us a pretty clear idea of what's taking place right now, and it gives us an idea of what we need to look for to suggest if we're going to pull back up to that daily supply or not. On to the forecast for gold. The past week, the banks got rid of 9,300 longs, and they also got rid of 584 shorts. Just a reminder here, we have a beautiful weekly uptrend floating around the high. But with a weekly uptrend, I think longs are definitely going to be favored here on gold. Just wanted to point that out. But as you can see on the 4 hour chart, we actually have a 4 hour downtrend. So what does that mean? Well, that means that we could just be getting a retracement with that. So the weekly trend is up, but obviously you get retracements and uptrends. And I think what this is that retracement. It is a minor retracement so far. If you go to the daily chart here, I thought we would at least pull back down to this daily demand at 1996. At this point, I don't know if we will. If we do pull back down to this area, I still think it's a great zone to look for longs at, especially on swing trading timeframes based on that overall weekly trend. So I still think waiting for that daily demand zone to be hit to look for longs is going to be okay. Back to the 4 hour chart. If you are bearish, you could be trading this 4 hour downtrend on day trading time frames. So which means once we start to break down and continue to go down, if we do, on a 15-minute chart or a 5-minute chart, you could be looking for shorts as long as we have this downward trend line in play. Once we break that trend line on the 4 hour chart like that, if we are left with a 4 hour demand zone, we could be looking for longs. So gold's really all going to revolve around this 4 hour downward trend. Like I said, if this trend line is holding, we could be looking for shorts on the day trading timeframes. And once it's removed, that would be definitely the bullish sign that I'm going to be looking for. To suggest that, hey, maybe we're not pulling back down to this daily demand, and now that we broke that 4 hour downward trend, now we can get in long and try to trade gold up to new all-time highs again. So definitely an important situation here on gold. Like I said, monitor that 4 hour chart. If that downward trend holds, it's most likely we're going to be headed back down to that daily demand at about 1996. So definitely monitor the 4 hour chart, as that is going to be your key to victory here in gold, in my opinion. On to the forecast for the USDJPY. The past week, the banks added 3,427 longs, and they also added 2,816 shorts. Top-down approach here on the weekly chart. There's really not much to go off of here. On the weekly chart, you can see just it's sideways. No clear demand zone or supply zone here. This is very tested. So just want to say, not the easiest trading times in the USD yen, although we did catch a pretty nice trade this past week. If you look at a daily chart here, we are so close to this daily supply. I think we still could push up to there at 148.97. Could be an area where we look for a short, potentially get a move, from supply back down to daily demand at 145. This is also an area I think we could potentially look for longs in on a daily chart. But if you notice here, we had two supply zones here that I had last week, and these are both, we already had a reaction off of one, but both of these supply zones were removed, so we are actually looking for longs. You can see we had a nice 4 hour uptrend as well. Daily chart broke out. We had a beautiful little 1 hour rally demand zone here. You can see beautiful 3-to-1 trade off of the zone taken, called out in the daily market breakdown video for the Diamond members. And if you want access to my daily market breakdown videos throughout the week to get basically my forecast every single night, check out the Diamond membership. Links are in the description. Down below, we have video lessons, Sunday Zoom strategy sessions as well. And like I said, daily analysis and much, much more. So check it out. We'll be happy to see you guys join the team. We have a lifetime access available as well. Links are all in the description. We'd be happy to see everyone join. So we got this trade off of the 1 hour chart, but we could still be looking for longs. Profit margin is definitely cut because that daily supply is so close now. So if you want to look for shorts, going back to the 1 hour chart, if we remove this 1 hour demand zone and leaving us with a 1 hour supply, you could look for a short, off of that supply zone, because that the dollar is into supply. So that would be kind of our 1 hour confirmation there. If you are bullish, we have a pretty nice 4 hour uptrend now. We could be trading that 4 hour uptrend as long as this trend line is holding. If we do push down to this 4 hour demand down here at 146.79, we could see a move off of it. I'd more use it as a higher time frame and trade on a lower time frame. because of the trend line location here. But at the end of the day, nice 4-hour uptrend here. It is definitely kind of a tricky chart where I could see reasons for, you know, day trading long, but potentially looking for a swing trading short as well. So hopefully this all makes sense. Remember, guys, any questions, do not hesitate to leave a comment. On to the forecast for the GBPUSD, the British pound. The past week, the banks added 5,546 longs, and they also got rid of 4,651 shorts. Thoughts on the pound this week, guys? Let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on the pound. So you can see on the daily chart here, kind of going sideways. I mean, the overall trend is up, but I'm just not loving this price action, to be quite honest, on the pound. It's actually more evident here on the 4-hour chart. You can just see, yes, okay, like we did get this zone that worked really well, you know, over a 3 to 1 there, you know, but were these zones going 3 to 1? Not really. You know, is this supply zone going to go 3 to 1 at least? Who knows? Probably not. I'd rather be trading supply and demand zones that are out at the extremes. So, you know, with that being said, with this 4-hour supply zone here, yeah, okay. I mean, we already got some sort of reaction off of it. As long as it's holding, we could be looking for like little day trading scalps off of it. I mean, I do like the zone as far as the basing and the move away and what it removed. But, you know, since we've already had a reaction off of it, I don't know if this zone is gonna hold. And even if we break this supply zone and we're left with a 4-hour demand zone, okay, well, it's just about as quality as this zone and this zone and this zone. When the overall range is still in play, it's just not the highest odds. So, you know, the pound right now, not the best thing to be trading, but with the 4-hour supply and control, you could be looking for shorts. Like I said, if we remove it, leaving us the 4-hour demand, we could be looking for longs. But again, I just really want to see us break out of this range because it's really not offering that many great trading opportunities here, you know, on the pound. That's very, very clear. So what are your thoughts? Me personally, I don't really like trading it at this moment in time. So let me know your thoughts on the pound. All right, on to the forecast for the USDCAD. The past week, the banks added 2,460 longs, and they got rid of 3,548 shorts. So as you can see, on the USDCAD chart here, we had this daily demand zone here, and I pointed this out. You can go back, check out my forecast video from, I don't know, late December or early January. I was talking about the move from the daily demand up to daily supply, and we got that whole move. So congratulations to anybody who caught that trade. But you can see now, we have that daily supply in control, and we are currently reacting off of it, which means we definitely could be looking for shorts. Now, what we could be doing is on the 1-hour chart. The problem, though, is that we already have a 1-hour downtrend at this point, and we already got the most high quality setup right here. This confirmation was perfect. This demand zone reacted multiple times, removed by this supply zone. That was the setup right there. Absolutely picture perfect trading setup. At this point, we could still be looking for shorts. Do I really recommend trading short in this area at 1.34? Not really. It's not the best area. You could, but again, like the trading setup has already kind of taken place here. But at the end of the day, the daily supply is in control. We have a 1-hour downtrend now, so in my opinion, it is shorts all the way. If you want to trade this 1-hour supply as a confirmation and trade on a lower time frame, I think that would be fine as well. And that's pretty much, you know, all I am seeing. But at the end of the day, we have a daily supply zone that is in control, and we want to be favoring shorts, and we are starting to get good confirmation on the 1-hour chart. You know, that price is most likely going to be turning around. So really not much to report as far as other zones other than that here on the USDCAD. But at the end of the day, definitely going to be looking for shorts here, especially as the DXY is into supply as well. All right, on to the forecast for the Aussie US dollar. The past week, the banks got rid of 1,514 longs, and they also added 14,069 shorts. Looking at a daily chart here, you can see clearly we broke through this daily demand zone. I'm kind of surprised by that, to be quite honest. This was a pretty good daily demand zone, but sometimes the best zones fail, guys. So, but that has left us with a daily supply at 0.66. Now, the real question is, are we going to push back up to this daily supply? And so far, it does look like we are. 2 bullish days in a row. To me, it does look like we are pulling back up to that supply, and it could be an area to look for potential swing trading or day trading shorts if you are bearish the Aussie. Now, on the 1-hour chart, we clearly have gone sideways here. Really, this is not an uptrend. This is just upward momentum. What I would like to see is some sort of clear upward trend line like this, and then looking for day trading longs would be higher odds with the idea of trading the pullback up to daily supply. Now, on the 4-hour chart, we still have a very nice looking 4-hour downward trend. We have a beautiful downward trend line here. So we could be day trading short on a 15-minute, 5-minute, or a 1-minute chart. Currently, the momentum is kind of up on those time frames, so we'd probably be best to wait for momentum to shift and then look for a short trade. But as long as this downward trend line on the 4-hour chart is holding, in my opinion, we're probably going to continue to go down. There is supply above at 0.66. We could look for a potential short trade off of that 4-hour supply zone on the Aussie, and that's pretty much all I am seeing as far as zones go. But like I said, with the 4-hour downward trend line holding, we could just be looking for shorts as long as that downward trend is holding. But on day trading timeframes, I cannot stress that enough. If we do get that pullback up to daily supply, then we could be looking for those swing trading shorts with the idea of daily supply is in control. We're probably going to get a move off of it. So I'm going to have to monitor the 4-hour chart to see if that trend line is still holding and what takes place at the daily chart to see if we continue to push up to that daily supply. On to the forecast for the USD Swiss franc, the USDCHF. The past week, the banks got rid of 1,071 longs, and they also got rid of 417 shorts. Top-down approach here, weekly downward trend line in control right now. So definitely overall bearish for sure. On the daily chart as well, beautiful daily downward trend line. Although momentum is definitely up, we definitely want to be favoring shorts. Now, the problem with the USD Swiss right now is I'm really not seeing any shorting potential setups at all. We have a pretty nice 4-hour upward trend at this moment. We could actually probably draw a trend line like that. I think that that's fair. So look, if you're a day trader and you want to day trade long and you're bullish the dollar, I get it. We could be looking for day trading longs on the USD Swiss. We have a 4-hour demand zone there. As long as the trend line's holding, we could be on the day trading timeframes looking for longs. Me personally, with the weekly and the daily downward trend, I personally want to be favoring shorts. I just think it's the highest odds thing to do. Although, as you can see, there's really no evidence of price turning around at all right now. So what I'm personally going to be waiting for is something like this, where we can remove not only the demand, but the upward trend line as well. And any 4-hour supplies on there, I would be personally interested in shorting on the USD Swiss. So that's what I am personally going to be looking for here, but I'm not just going to hop on short yet. Yes, okay, we have weekly and daily downward trend lines. There is a potential set and forget supply zone short set up here at 0.87. Very risky. We could see a move off of it, but for me personally, I think the highest odds thing to do is wait for the evidence, wait for momentum to shift, and then take that short setup. So I'm just going to wait for momentum to shift, to turn around here, so I can continue to trade with that overall weekly and daily downtrend here on the USD Swiss franc. Last but not least, we are on to crude oil. The past week, the banks added 6,433 longs, and they also added 14,081 shorts. Remember, daily chart, the trend is down. The downward trend line is still holding, although we are getting very close to the daily downward trend line. It is still holding, so I think looking for shorts was definitely fine. If you look on the 4-hour chart right here, we can clearly see nice reaction off a 4-hour demand zone to the upside, but overall just kind of sideways. Really no 4-hour trend here. That's what I'm looking to kind of wait for. But it's not preventing us from from missing any trades. You can see we had a beautiful 1-hour demand zone here. Got that trade off of there from demand to supply. Called that one out in the daily market breakdown videos. And we also called out this 1-hour supply as well. So far, pretty nice move, looking to get the continuation of the move down. In my opinion, the supply is a higher odd setup, based on the daily downward trend line. But like I said, we could start to see price rally out. So hopefully we can get that 3-1 move from the supply zone. So that's really the trade right now. So the trade's kind of already taken place, unfortunately. I don't really think entering now is going to do us any good since the entry was up here. So hopefully we can continue to see the price push down. We do have a demand zone here as well that is fresh. If you are bullish, we could just wait for this demand zone to be hit at 71.86 and look for longs there. Or who knows, maybe we take profit, turn around, break supply, and any 1-hour demand zone, we could be looking for longs as well, as we'll have a 1-hour uptrend. So that's what I'll be waiting for here on crude oil. A little bit confusing. The trade's kind of already worked out, but at the end of the day, I'm going to have to monitor the 1-hour chart, and hopefully it'll give us some decent setups coming up. If you guys want to watch the full-length forecast with all the other markets, make sure to subscribe to the channel membership to get access.